Good morning, beautiful people. It is a feel-good Friday, February 21st. Bert Kreischer, the machine, will be in studio with us for about an hour and 45 minutes. Can't wait to see what comes out of that incredibly legendary, hilarious mouth of his. A lot of things to hit before he gets in here because I think the show might go to complete crap when he gets in here. There's a lot to talk about. The CBA with Tua, J.J. Watt's not happy, Wilder Fury, you name it. We're going to talk about it. Let's get your phone calls, 1-833-622-3331. Let's have a hell of a Friday. And by the way, St. Patty's shirts are now 20% off at store.McAfeeShow.com when you use promo code WINST. St. Patrick's Day is a picture posting holiday. You're out and about, you're drinking, you're taking photos, you're having fun because Irish people were drunk for a long, long time. You win St. Patrick's Day with the shirts that we're offering up for 20% off at store.McAfeeShow.com using promo code WINST. Patties with a D, not a T, and you should buy those quick because we're not 100% sure if we can get them to you in time if you wait a few days. Evan Foxy, please play some Chase Rice. Let's have a Friday.
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a McAfee show.
You're damn right it is Chase Rice. It is Friday, February 21st, live in Indianapolis, Indiana. At Nick Moraldo is here. At Tone Diggs is here. Ty Cuban Zete is here.
Let's go.
With a fresh cigar. Where's that cigar from, Zito?
It is from Iowa Cigars.
Nice. Iowa Cigar is a legendary cigar place. At Evan Foxy, who watched White Men Can't Jump for the first time in his life last night.
Such a good movie.
It is a very good movie.
All-time classic.
Billy Ho and Connor Campbell is on the phones. He'll be... That psychopath will be answering your phone calls. 1-833-622-3331. Okay, the talk of the NFL right now is the CBA. And in my eyes, we all kind of expected what is being proposed to kind of come to fruition. In my eyes, June 6, 2019, I said the NFL wants 18 games. The players want to keep it at 16 because the players have to stumble across the finish line, most of them, in the 16-game season with injuries and things like that. The NFL obviously wants 2 more games so they can sell them, get better TV deals. 2019, you meet in the middle at 17, you add an extra bye week, and off you go. So now that the CBA is being legitimately negotiated, I guess for the last 10 months they said they've been negotiating. Now the players and the NFLPA are being in one area. The NFL owners have been bird called to New York to vote. Things seem to be getting very, very close to the finish line. If you're listening to the NFL speak about this thing, whenever you hear the NFLPA and a lot of very important players in the NFL speak about this, they're all like, it's going to be a no from me, dog. J.J. Watt, that's not the right one. J.J. Watt is absolutely a leader in the NFL. So when J.J. Watt says something along the lines of, it is a hard no from me, other players are going to look around and say, you know what, if J.J. Watt hates it, if old Nino hates it, if all these Richard Sherman, all these 10 years ago, when the last CBA was being negotiated, the players made a fatal flaw in their PR campaign in negotiating with the NFL with the new CBA. Okay? The old adage is if you win the mob, you win Rome. The last CBA, the owners won the PR war by far. They were the ones locking the players out, refusing to let the players in, and there's still fans right now that think it was a strike, that the players were choosing not to go into work. And the fan base was, you know what, we don't care about the millionaires. Just take the money and play. You're playing a kid's game. You're getting overpaid. We're here to ride with the owners. Because the owners started that PR war about 6 months before. They're like, hey, this is what we're offering up. This is what we want to do for the players. We're trying to take care of them. We're doing all this without revealing all the stuff that on the back end that the players probably hate and don't like. They're not leaking that type of information to the Adam Schefters of the world, to the people at ESPN are like, hey, this is what the NFL proposed. It's like, well, those are the highlights of what the NFL proposed. You're not actually getting the entire thing. This year, yet again, the players are failing miserably in the PR war of this whole thing. Okay? The NFL is leaking information, obviously, to Schefter. The NFL is leaking information to Dan Graziano, who was on Get Up this morning, who might as well have been a propaganda machine for the NFL. I mean, he might as well have been. This is what they're offering. They're offering up $10,000 a week to practice squad guys. They're offering up intuition, school. They're offering up all this stuff, basically talking about all the good things that the NFL is offering up, because the NFL is leaking that information, all these people to do it, so that the fans are reading and hearing all this, and they're like, what are these players doing? Well, you're not seeing the other 700 pages that are being offered through was bad for the players. This time, I'm reaching out to player executives. I'm like, hey, what do we hate about the deal, right? I have a pretty large microphone. We're on like 150 stations, I think, radio-wise, YouTube, DAZN, we're international. My Twitter does pretty good. The show does pretty good. I have a pretty large microphone. I'm reaching out to the NFLPA people that are executive members that are friends of mine, like people that are actually friends of mine. I'm like, hey, what do we hate about the deal? They're like, we can't talk about that. I'm like, you should talk about that. You should tell me what we hate about the deal so I can release it and say, hey, this is why they don't like it. Now, obviously, the 50-50 split is something that they want, but fans aren't going to get around to that. It's all the little things that fans aren't hearing, that we don't know because we haven't read through the proposal either, that aren't being leaked from the NFLPA side because they want to be tight-lipped about it and keep it in there. But in the end, all they're doing, since they're keeping the conversation in that room, that's all they're doing is keep that conversation in that room. Nobody knows why they're saying no to this deal that is being pitched by every other media member as a good one from the NFL. The players have lost the PR war already, and this is them making the same exact mistake that they made 10 years ago. And to be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed in them. I'm sending messages, text messages and DMs to people. I'm like, yo, what do we hate about the deal? What do we not like about it? There has to be something, because right now, if you listen to every human speak about the proposed deal from the NFL, they're talking about how great it is for you guys and how much more money's coming and how many more opportunities, retired players are getting taken care of and all this stuff. There has to be some reason other than the $250,000 cap on that 17th game that the guys that are making a lot of money hate. There has to be other stuff that you don't like. There was a lot of stuff in this last CBA that people don't even know about, that I don't even think a lot of players knew about until like a year or two after it leaked out. And you're like, oh, that's a terrible deal that nobody ever heard about because the PR was it. And I think the NFLPA is falling into the same trap right now.
In the court of public opinion, the players are already screwed because, what was that, on Wednesday or Thursday, I had this feeling like, hey, this is getting done. Like, we're going to have 2 more playoff teams, more games. The players are getting more money. This is great for everybody. But then all you see is the players on Twitter, them being vocal is actually, I think, hurting them and just saying, nope, can't do that without being specific.
By the way, the NFL released 2 months ago that a deal was going to get done early. They started their PR campaign 2-3 months ago to make it look as if, hey, we're doing everything we can to get this deal done. The players are being hard to bargain with, right? So not only are the owners going to be in the city long after the players are gone, right? So that's why the fans tend to side with the billionaires instead of the millionaires, which, by the way, not every player in the NFL is a millionaire. But the fans normally side with the billionaires, the 30 of them or 31 of them that are fighting for this, because they have brought the team to the city. They'll be in the city long after all these players are gone. They feel a much better connection with the owner, maybe over the long haul. But for the players are much more relatable to the fans than the owners are, right? A lot of these owners, now there's a lot that have worked their asses off to get their money, but there's some owners that were literally just born into $1 billion. They own a team, and fans think they can relate to them. These players are guys that have worked their asses off from a lot of bad positions. You got people that have accomplished the American dream coming out of terrible neighborhoods, trying to provide for their family, their community, and everything like that. But all fans see is all these positive stuff coming from the NFL, like, hey, this is what they're offering. And the NFL is almost like feeding information to these reporters to basically tell them, like, hey, these guys are acting like spoiled, rich pricks. And in the end of it, we have no idea what's in the actual proposal because we won't get 700 pages of it or whatever. We're only being told what's being leaked. And the NFLPA, I think, is behind the 8 ball without just releasing some of this stuff that says, like, this is why we're thinking about saying no, as opposed to just tweeting, nope, not doing it. There has to be, like, actual reason, because I think humans are understanding people. But when you give them nothing to understand other than just a hard no, it's like, come on, guys. Come on, guys. That's all I want to say. Come on.
Go ahead, sorry.
Why is that, do you think? Because, I mean, like, there's obviously no legal ramifications. I mean, the NFL is doing it on the other side, so why won't these guys specifically state, especially to, like, a guy like you who they know is going to go to bat for them? And
I'm on your side. You just give me a little bit of reasoning, right? Because all I'm learning about, the only thing I'm learning about is from
the other side.
The other side, right? Just like all the fans. So now that I'm on this side of it, and even back whenever, because I was never a player rep, for numerous reasons, but I was never a player rep. So I wasn't in those inside conversations either. So when that lockout was happening, you know, whenever you would wake up, work out, take a nap, drink for 7 hours, go to sleep, wake up, work out, take a nap, drink for 7 hours, put that on repeat for 140 days, skydive at one point. I mean, I had no idea what was going on other than what ESPN was telling me. And all ESPN or NBC or these football people are telling me was only information coming from the NFL. So it was all one-sided. It's like, that's the thing that I think, like, you can be a great lawyer and a great negotiator, but if you don't understand how to get the public's opinion on your side, I think you're always going to lose. And in this particular case, the pressure is going to mount on the NFLPA to sign a deal, just like it did last time. Last time it was a lockout and guys were going broke and things like that. But this time the pressure is going to mount strictly because fans want more games. Fans want more wild card playoff games. Fans see that players are making an extra $100 million is what this deal says, $100 million. But if you do the math, it's only like $70,000 per player. So it's like all of these things that fans are seeing. They're like, well, the players are holding us back from everything that we love. It's not the NFL doing that. And it's just a PR war that where certain things are getting leaked and certain things aren't. And it's like, I think the players are losing. This is supposed to be a feel-good Friday, but I don't feel good at all about this. I actually think it's a very dumb move by the NFLPA, what they're doing. And by the way, as a retired player, I think there's a lot of things that are potentially going to benefit me from this entire thing. From what I heard, I'm going to get free health care in the cities that I'm in and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, if I'm getting orthopedic checkups and physicals for free, that's only information I'm hearing. I'm like, I'm 100% okay with getting free doctors and everything like that. It's like, well, there has to be something other than the 17th game that is capped at $250,000 that the players are like, no way, because there's a lot of players in the league that don't make $250,000 a year, let alone $250,000 a week. That Jeff Saturday mentioned this earlier that we have to negotiate for. Just an interesting situation. I don't think it's even near done.
No, there's two things the fans are seeing right now. Players can possibly get $5 billion more dollars.
Yep.
And then players on Twitter saying no.
That's all they see. That's all. And if you just think about that from any rational thought, you're like, oh, well, that guy's saying no to an extra $5 billion. Oh, he must be an idiot. It's like, well, if you really start digging deeper, that $5 billion, what, just 1.5% of a 10-year deal? I mean, there's a lot of things to be, but it's just, I think that is a fatal flaw of the NFLPA.
For sure.
Is trying to keep everything tight-lipped and all this stuff. It's like, I agree you have to do that, but at some point you have to play the game just a little bit. All right, we got to get to a break. We got Michael Lombardi, Bert Kreischer, everybody joining us. It is a wild feel-good Friday here on this February 21st. 14 minutes after the hour, we're back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
It's happening. People are freeing themselves from their wireless contracts. It's a movement towards something simple.
Get truly unlimited data on a 5G-ready network for just $45 a month.
With no contract, ever.
Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here. Beautiful Friday, February. My wheels busted on my chair there. I couldn't move up to the seat. Joining us now is a man who is a general manager in the NFL, worked for the Patriots. He's been all over it. Good friend of the show. Massive gambling pick giver. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi. Attaboy, Paisan.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you. How are you?
I'm okay, man. I'm a little bit upset with the NFLPA, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, look, I think we got to be careful. I don't know if we know. Do you know all the details? I don't.
No, but that's the issue that I have, Mr. Lombardi, is 10 years ago they lost the PR war in the new CBA negotiation. The NFL would just leak little things that made the NFL look like, or the NFL players look like a bunch of spoiled brats. I've been trying to text the NFLPA executive committees like, hey, what do we need to let the people know about why we don't like it? And I'm getting nothing. They're telling me basically like, oh, we can't talk about it right now. We can't talk about it right now. And they're just getting laps run around them in the PR war right now. And it's the same thing that happened 10 years ago, Lombardi.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the concern is, I hate to pass judgment on this, 17 games. I like to see the whole thing before I understand how to comment on it. And I don't know if that's the case. And the players obviously will know today. They're going to vote. The executive committee is voting on it today, correct? That's my understanding, right?
The conference call today.
From what I've been told, though, the executive committee, and now this is something that I was in the league for 8 years. I did not sign the letter to join the NFLPA the last 2 years of my career, though, right? Because I thought there was a lot of bad decisions being made, and I didn't want to be a part of it. They gave away a T-shirt deal to the Fanatics company where I was making like 25 cents a shirt, and Fanatics was just utilizing all of my marketing from Twitter, my own marketing, not from them. And I was like, well, I don't want to do business with you guys.
The NC2A, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was like almost. So I was like, and they weren't making a gross amount of money off of the shirts that they were selling, but I didn't appreciate that a deal got negotiated for me under my title that, I just didn't like that. So I said, no, I'm out. Now, with this NFLPA, I guess what the executive committee does is they have to talk to the team reps. So they get up there, they speak to the team reps, and then the reps vote as opposed to the executive committee, right? So the executive committee speaks to them and then the reps vote. If I'm getting my information right, I think that's how it goes. But it seems like we are a long way away from this CBA being completed.
Well, to get it ratified, but I think what the owners are trying to do is like anything that happens in any negotiation, you have to have a certain element of time. I mean, if you were to go to Japan and try to negotiate a deal in the Japanese culture, they usually don't start serious negotiation with you until about 4 hours before your plane's going to take back off to the States.
Smart, by the way.
Exactly, because all the other stuff is just hyperbole. It's not really going to matter. It's all just posturing. And so if you don't have a deadline, it's the great saying about writers, I don't need more time, I need a deadline. Whenever you're writing something, the more time is what you don't need. You need a deadline. In labor negotiations, you need a deadline. And I think that's where the owners are. They're going to put this deal in front of the players and simply say, look, if you don't like this deal, we're not going to come back to the bargaining table. You're going to have to deal with the uncapped year. You're going to have to deal with the uncertainty of perhaps not having a work stoppage next year.
The thought that coaches and GMs don't care about the CBA, is that accurate or not accurate?
No, I don't think that's accurate. I think we care. I think you have to care because, look, it's the rules of engagement, correct? So, forgetting the financial terms of the deal, right? That's the players are entitled. They make the league. They make the brand. It's the players, right? So they need to have that. But in terms of how to make the players better, how to enhance the game, safety, those are all things that have to be in the collective bargaining agreement that we can utilize. How do we make offensive linemen play much better? We watch the XFL and we know their offensive linemen and defensive line play, and that league is really bad because there's not a lot of good players playing, right? So how do we improve that aspect of the game? That's got to be in the CBA.
Do you think, so my eyes in the XFL, I don't want to pivot to another league, but let's do it. We got Bert Kreischer here for the last hour and a half of this show. He's a massive XFL fan, by the way. I'm excited to talk to him about it. But the conversation about the AAFL was that their quarterback play was so bad, it's very tough to watch. The XFL has a couple good quarterbacks. Like, I think that Teamu kid, who's with the Battlehawks, who kind of got screwed out of year of eligibility in college by going to the New Mexico Military Institute. I believe he only played 4 games there his freshman year, and then he transferred to Ole Miss, was a starting quarterback there, and then he asked to get that year back of eligibility where he only played 4 games. They said no to him, and then like 2 weeks later, they made the 4-game redshirt rule. So it was like, it's almost like he was the reason for the rule, but he got screwed out of it. He's good. There's a couple good quarterbacks there. Mr. Walker's doing very well, but is it the offensive line that makes the quarterbacks look bad? Is that the AAFL's problem? Is that the XFL problem? Like, some of those quarterbacks who look bad, it's potentially
and it's partly, it's not their fault, because you got to really, offensive linemen are like, you got to develop a golf swing, right? It takes time. It takes a lot of hits on the range, and you got to really work your fundamentals and techniques. And so, I think the league's I like the league. I'm not against the league. I'm not a snob.
I like it too.
I like the fact that we've got football in the spring. I'm enjoying it. However, that being said, it's not a fast league. It's not a fast, physical, high-intensity league. It's a slower league, which is fairly, it's very watchable. But you're right. The quarterbacking play makes it very difficult. And then the fact that we don't have great linemen, it's the reason why these preseason games are so bad, is because we can't train offensive linemen to really go out there and play well in the preseason. We don't have enough time. And when you take away time from development, it really hurts. And that's what I think the CBA, going back to that, I think we got to have some way to develop offensive and defensive linemen within the CBA.
Yeah, because the college game is so spread out. Guys are rarely in a 3-point stance. Everybody's in a 2-point stance. Everybody stands up before the snap has happened to look over at the caller, to come back in. Everything's like kind of deceived. There's no real moving humans happening in college. I mean, some places. Now, that's a very broad paintbrush I did. But for a majority of football in college, there's not a lot of humans moving other humans. There's a lot of deception. There's a lot of delaying. There's things like that. And in the NFL, it's a little bit of a different ballgame, especially when you're going against guys that are 6'6", 280, and that run 4.5s that are trying to get to your quarterback. It's just a different world. The O-line epidemic is a real one.
It is, and I think we could. I mean, look, I get the player's point. When I was at Oakland and before we had the rules, I mean, Gruden would have a quarterback camp in February because he couldn't wait to go coach again, right? I get the overworking of the players on the field. I get that. And I get the overworking of the receivers and all that. I get that. But there has to be more time allotted to offensive linemen, particularly in terms of going inside an indoor facility and working on their footwork and working on their techniques. I think that's more than – I'm not talking about having contact. I'm talking about having more coaching of their specific fundamentals than I am that.
Drew Brees announced that he was coming back on his Instagram, right? Mm-hmm. Antonio Brown has been on an entire apology tour via his social media. Derek Carr just tossed himself into the social media rabbit hole by posting a photo of him and Khalil Mack dapping up. This is obviously after everything that Tom Brady has done via social media with the potential Raiders. Do you like the current state of football players basically controlling their destiny, controlling their own fate via social media, via subliminal messages? And would Derek Carr be a good fit in Chicago instead of MVP Mitch?
I think let's take the second one. I said this on my podcast numerous times, in the Carr family, which they have a strong social media presence now that Derek's on it, but they were come after me. There's no way, and now I think it's been proven that there is some dissatisfaction between the Raiders offensively, John Gruden, and what Carr brings to the table. And those two, to me, are, and watch Hard Knocks if you think they're really they're not meant for each other. It's a little bit different. So I do think the Raiders want another quarterback. Is it Tom Brady? I think it makes sense. They better be sure that, the Tom Brady that they're getting is still the same Tom Brady, because we don't really know that. Age has a way of creeping up on us. It hasn't on Father Tom Brady, but it will. And they've got to be real careful. I do think the Raiders would draft one. And I think the same thing with Phillip Rivers and the Colts. I think your Colts there in Indianapolis would be interested in Rivers, but I also think that they're going to draft one. Now, social media, I don't think we can change that. I think when the players are free like they are today, in terms of not inside the building, they have every right to do whatever they want to do. And I think what you have to do during the season is try to always put the team first. Put the team first in terms of what you're trying to do social media wise. But I think we live in a society that's part of it, and how you manage that is truly the challenge of the head coach.
The thought of Mike Mayock having to watch people's Instagrams to see what they're intrigued by and what they're not intrigued by. Like there's people in NFL front offices that are 100% watching Des Bryant run routes on his Instagram right now. Like
no doubt.
They're
watching YouTube videos of players. I mean, this is the world we live in. This is the information age. I mean, the quarterback who's bounced around the league, the YouTube quarterback, he was on the Giants last year. I mean, he had a YouTube video of, and that's how people were watching him. He was in 10 camps. I mean, it is the world we live in today. I got Alex on the brain, but I mean, that's the world we live in today, and you've got to adapt to it, right? If you're not going to be look, when most of these, what the kids don't understand, and when I talk to colleges around the country, what they don't understand is when they enroll in a college, their Twitter feed, their Instagram feed is automatically getting fed into the pro system. It's automatically coming in there. So if you post pictures of something as a freshman that is really not good, it's going to show up. It's going to be part of your interview when you're at the combine.
I love that. I was in the beginning stages of that, by the way. And listening to the coaches and the front office people act as if they didn't follow me on Twitter, right? And then reference things that I was directly tweeting about I was like, oh, do you follow? No. My kids told me. I'm like, oh, okay. Then you start seeing like a Chuck Pagano burner start showing up. It's like, all right, a Grigson burner starts. I'm like, that looks like, oh, wait a minute. Can I get an IP address on this? It's an interesting world right now.
It is. I mean, and if you don't embrace technology and you're in the information business, you're going to be left behind. And I think you have to. And that's what we have to do is embrace it. We can't fight it. Now, I think we got to do a better job of controlling the message. We got to be able to say to the players, hey, there's nothing wrong with you promoting yourself, but there is something wrong if you're doing things that are not in the best interest of our football team. I think that's the line you've got to make clear.
Stephon Diggs deleted all of his Viking stuff. I mean, we're in a never-ending cycle of drama, information, spin zone, and the NFLPA refuses to act a part of that in the new CBA. I think that's going to be their downfall. Mr. Lombardi, who you betting on this weekend, Wild or Fury? Do you know anything about boxing?
No, I really don't.
Me neither.
I don't know much about it at all. I don't really, I mean, I've been immersed in college hoops. That's why I'm wearing my Hoosiers sweatshirt today.
Hoosiers.
I've been immersed in that. I think it's really a fascinating, when you watch college basketball today, I think it's fascinating about the aspect of how these teams like Duke that take one-and-done players, Washington has done that, Georgia has done that, and how they're not able to really penetrate the win column with just one-and-dones. They have talented players. They don't have talented teams. But then you look at San Diego State, who has a bunch of guys who are really good players, but they're older. And I think what Scott Drew said at Baylor is really true. We got older. You got to get older in college basketball. You got to get older with football teams. Young teams, you can't ever be too young. You can't be too old, but you can't be too young. And I think that's the fun. As I watch college basketball, it's a great learning tool for me to study how people are building teams and trying to emphasize the things that you need to do to win.
I love that, by the way. That's a very beautiful concept there from Lombardi. That's the entire thing about built, not bought. Right? That's in everything. And in college basketball, it's starting to happen as well. Built, not bought. The one and dones are obviously the players that you're renting for whatever. And then Baylor football, by the way, just like with Matt Rule, they're very much into the no transfers. All our guys are here. College football is getting a lot of transfers. They're almost hitting a free agency world. Everything's about the built, not bought policy. And for seems like the beginning of time, the built teams seem to have a lot more success than the bot teams, but the bot teams can give you a little bit of edge, a little bit of sizzle, a little bit of a run, but it feels like the teams that are built the right way always win no matter what the sport is.
In basketball. That's why people say, well, there's too much parity in basketball. No, I think it's good for basketball. I think it's fun to watch Dayton play with a kid that wasn't really highly recruited, and all of a sudden he grew and blossomed into this incredible player in Toppin. I think it's fun to watch Seton Hall and Miles Powell play. I think it's fun to watch these different teams play, and learn that they've developed their craft. Because let's face it, the freshman guys, Duke, as good as they were, how many guys they got drafted? They didn't make it to the final 8. They didn't make it to the final 4.
Is that because Coach K lost it? People are asking. I know you didn't, though. Ladies and gentlemen, former GM, college basketball enthusiast, Michael Lombardi. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Pat.
When was the last time you were driving through a snowstorm and thought, wow, I love not being able to see a damn thing when I drive?
Never.
Yeah, you haven't. Because now driving in bad weather doesn't have to be a headache anymore, though, thanks to our friends at Michelin with the new Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades. These blades last through everything to prove it. Michelin just put their new Endurance XT silicone wiper blades to the ultimate test on a world record-breaking, listen to this, 16,000-mile drive from Alaska to Argentina.
Oh, my God.
From damn near Russia all the way down to Argentina. Didn't even know that was possible. Rainier Zeitlo, and everybody knows if Rainier Zeitlo is involved in something, it is the real deal. He was the man behind the wheel and put the Michelin Endurance XC silicone wiper blades through the rain, snow, ice, wind, and thunder.
No.
Yep. The blades handled all of it. These blades are crafted from extreme weather performance with an advanced quad tech 4-layer coated silicone that repels water, snow, and ice and lasts 2 times longer than the other blades. The Michelin Endurance XC silicone wiper blades are real-world proven for extreme weather performance. Upgrade to the Michelin Endurance XC silicone wiper blades today only at Walmart. All right. Buckle up for the next 5 minutes. Go to the bathroom. Take a grumpy, maybe vomit, do whatever you got to do. The machine, Bert Kreischer, is joining us for the next hour and 20 minutes. This is about to be electric. I've looked forward to this moment for a long time. Let's have a Friday. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
At Simple Mobile, you get the no contract advantage. Unlimited talk, text, and data now for $30 a month. Now on a 5G ready network with no activation fees ever. No confusion, no complexity, no frustration, and no contract. Ever, ever, ever. Now get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a month. And now 5G ready. It's our best deal ever. Buy yours now at nationwide retailers or at Simple Mobile dealers. Learn more at simplemobile.com. Simple Mobile, out with the old, in with the simple.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show.
This is why I'm dangerous.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. We are being joined by a man who has a comedy special on Netflix, a man that you've seen because he drank with the Russian mob while robbing his peers. One of the most legendary humans to ever exist. Van Wilder was literally created off of him. The machine, Bert Kreischer.
I'm going back to Russia for the first time.
Really?
Yeah, going back. I'm doing a tour. We're doing a tour all through Asia. Maybe you can't find that.
Hey, take some Coronas with you. Bro. Take some Coronas. Have you been? So, for those that don't know, it's only got like 70 million views, I think, or something like that. So people have to. It's been picked up as a movie, I believe. Right?
Yeah. We're doing it as a movie right now, and it was really crazy because we were talking to the writer and the producer, and they were trying to like pitch me story ideas, but they were tied to like real life things that had happened. One of the things that had happened, they were talking about strip clubs. And
Hold on, can we run through this real quick? You went on a trip to Russia.
Oh, in 1995, I with my class, got involved with the Russian mafia, and then robbed a train with them. Yeah. It's so funny. I say it, I have no connection to it. Like I say it like when the story went viral like 4 years ago, changed my career. This is why it went viral. This is the most interesting part of this whole story that you're about to hear. When I posted it, one of the girls in my class had just got online on Facebook, saw it, and was like, "Oh, I'm going to comment real quick," and wrote in the comment sections, "This story is 100% true."
Legitimized it.
I was in Bert's Russian class. He robbed us, and then tagged everyone in my class. You can't pay for marketing like that. You can't get marketing like that. So then it goes viral. It's got like I can tell you how many views I got on my pages, but what happens is content providers like the Fat Jewish or whatever, they take it and put it, and they get 180 million views. That's the game changer. Those guys. So it gets bought as a movie. We're sitting in a pitch talking about story ideas for the movie, and they're like, "Oh yeah, maybe the machine can go to a strip club." And I was like, "That's so funny. It's a true story." I went to a strip club when we were with the mafia, and
the Russian mafia.
Yeah. And they were like, we walk in and they go, "Do you want full touch or no touch?" I'm like, "Who gets no touch?" "I'll go full touch, guys. I'll go full touch." And then we get in the room. She goes, "Take your pants off." And I was like, "Huh? What? Oh, no. I want no touch. I want no touch. I want no touch." So wait, this is 1995, and I lived in Tallahassee, grew up in Florida my whole life. So the girl goes to give me a lap dance, and she smells horrific. I mean, horrific. And I'm like, I can stomach through this one. I'm getting a new chick for the next one.
Yeah, of course.
Get a new lap dance. Next chick smells identical. I mean, so bad that I'm like, ugh, what is wrong with these women? Cut to like 20 years later, I'm on a second date with my wife, and we walk into an Indian restaurant, and I go, "This smells like Russian horse." They had just had Indian food, and I had never had Indian food.
Curry. It was curry.
It was curry. I guess they had all had curry that night. But curry is so bad in a lap dance.
You're just not having a clue. You're just like, "Oh, this is what Russian vaginas smell." Not even a thought that it was curry food. So is that going to make the movie?
Yeah. Well, I hope so. It was so funny. Like it was crazy because they were telling me story ideas, and I had lived it. But you tell it so much, it doesn't even register as real.
Yeah,
it's like when people.
It's a character.
Yeah, it's like when people talk to you about professional football. It's a part of your life that you're like, "Oh yeah." You take so many pictures and go, "Oh, thank you," that when they talk about it, you're like, "Oh yeah." Like another thing, we robbed myself because my bag's with my class, so we robbed me, and we stole. My dad had given me a very sentimental pocket knife, and he was like, "Buddy, you'll need this when you're traveling through Europe and cutting a baguette and opening a bottle of wine." And the mob stole it, just stole a pocket knife, and I was like, maybe we shouldn't steal that, right? I mean, some of these kids have sentimental reasons about what they got, right? So, yeah.
By the way, the way you described that was, "We stole from me."
Yeah, dude, it was crazy how we robbed people, because what we do is they'd open the door up a little bit, and then
How long was this?
What do you mean?
Like the rob, it was a couple hours, right?
Oh yeah, it was all night. It was all night. My class was really quick because we were just one train car, but there were like 9 train cars. So we robbed everyone.
Have you ever robbed anything since then? Was it just a one-night spree?
No. I haven't done anything. I'm not. Here's the crazy thing: is I'm kind of a big rule follower.
Really?
That's
intriguing. You do stand-up shirtless.
It's interesting that you said I don't subscribe to the rules, meaning they don't apply to me, but I feel like rules should apply to. I'm very specific about rules. Like when people fly up in the turn lane and then try to get over to the left, that really aggravates me.
Oh, don't do it.
That really aggravates me.
I almost killed somebody this morning.
I won't even let my Uber driver do it. I'm like, hey, please, man, I'm cool with waiting. But I'm horrible about rules. Like I flew with marijuana.
Did you put it? You checked it, or you walked?
Just put it in my bag.
Yeah, that's what some people I fly with on a regular basis.
I flew with marijuana to Bali.
That's not smart.
That is death penalty.
Locked up abroad.
That's
locked up
abroad.
I got there and I said to my wife, I'm opening up my cigars. We're out, beautiful in the middle of the jungle. I'm gonna open my cigars. I go, oh my god, I brought like 4 joints with me. I didn't even know. My wife's like, oh, here I am lighting up a joint going, I'm going to puff this. This is great. Who knew? This is like win-win. My wife's like, it's punishable by death. So I had to grind it into the grass.
So you're on the Birdie Boy World Tour right
Birdie Boy World Tour, 2 shows in Indianapolis, Evansville, and then Louisville on Saturday.
You did the Body Shots World Tour. I saw you drinking with like every city, I think, in this entire Earth maybe at one point. Now you're back on tour again. You're a real grinder. Like I don't think I've following you has been a lot of fun to watch because you're like a grinder.
I love it, dude. I mean, this is for anyone who's a comic listening, you know that you work your whole life to get to this one place. So if you get the opportunity, you're going to go hard. Like if you get the opportunity to sell, I mean, I can't even tell you how many tickets I'm sold tonight, but like You're in
a big theater tonight.
Big theater tonight. Yeah. This tour is more like 2,500 seats. Oh. So 2 shows tonight. I did it when I was here last time. One of the best nights of my life. NFC. There was the NFC playoffs. It was snowing. There was a big snowstorm that night, and the bus pulled in early. We sat and watched the game. Went and did 2 shows. Chick McGee from Bob and Tom came out. We sent everyone to a bar. I must have taken 500 pictures. I'm a honeypot for disease. If anyone is getting the coronavirus, it's me. It's going to be me.
Well, especially if you're going on tour in Asia. How do you do stand-up comedy for people that don't speak your language?
Oh, I just do their accent to them.
You appropriate the culture right to the
Yeah. Just very inappropriately, just go, oh, no. No.
So you have a special on Netflix right now.
Yeah, I got 2. Secret Time and The Machine are both on Netflix. I just saw a Netflix series that has not aired yet called The Cabin.
Congrats.
Thank you. And if you get triggered by anything, we definitely check your box.
Oh, you go in, huh?
The first episode was with Joey Diaz and Tom Segura.
Oh.
And Segura called me in the middle of the night, and he was like, hey, man, we can't put that stuff on air. Bro, I mean, it was aggressive.
Well, hold on. You hang out at the Comedy Store. We got 5 minutes, so I think we can get this answer in.
Yeah.
The Comedy Store, as somebody who has never been there but just watches on the internet, seems like this legendary place.
It is.
It really does. From afar, it does, and I think it actually is. Like Rogan, you, Burr, Segura, you name it, D'Elia, everybody hangs out at this comedy. Chappelle, I think, even hangs out there. Before Chappelle and Burr released these last 2 specials, right, that were very aggressive.
They were awesome.
They were absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
But I feel like there was a conversation amongst you comics at the Comedy Store where it was like, hey, somebody's got to go out there and flip the script on his politically correct stuff. And I feel like Burr and Chappelle were like, we'll do it, but we need a lot of money. And Netflix was like, well, here's $60 million to do it. And they go out there, and have they kind of changed the game for you guys?
I will say that Dave Chappelle jumped on a sword for everyone.
Yeah.
Meaning that special was so out of the box. When he said, I'm what you call a victim blamer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like what's like saying, hey guys, I'm a little racist. That was a game changer. But by the way, Dave Chappelle is one of the best to ever do it.
Ever.
So Burr is oblivious to the fact that he's even offending you. He didn't even tell the joke that was so aggressive. It was like I'll tell you off air, he has a joke in there that was one of my favorite jokes about not supporting the military that I'm like, He's still got it in his quiver. But Burr is brilliant. When you hang out with Burr, we went to an XFL game together. Yeah. The way his brain works, it's so quickly. One day we were driving down the street and we saw a van, an old school conversion van. And I said, man, whatever happened to those vans? They're so cool. Burr doesn't even miss a beat. He goes, branding issue, Bert, branding issue. I said, what? And he goes, hey, you rape a couple kids in a van, now no one can drive a van. Same thing happened with rollerblades. They were cool for the first summer they were out. Then a couple gay guys wear them. Now you can't wear rollerblades. His brain is so quick. It's like, I have a podcast with him.
Yeah,
and
Bill Burt, by the way, you two.
We gave you a couple shout-outs.
Way too nice to me. Man,
no.
That was a big moment for me. You should have seen me listening to that because I got a couple tweets from people that were like, and you sent me it. You were like, hey, I don't know if this podcast is ever going to come out. But,
oh, yeah, that's right.
But Bill and I talked about you. I don't know if it's ever going to come out, but Bill and I talked about you. You're going to like it is all you said. And I was like trying to play it cool. I was like, oh, thanks, man. Like, that's very nice of you guys. And that was like 3 weeks before it actually came out. So I was like, oh, Bert, they just didn't put it out or whatever. They got so much content. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, I wake up to a bunch of tweets and people are like, you should have heard what Bert and Bill just said about you. So we listened to it after the show. I don't think I felt that way ever in my entire. I appreciate how nice you guys were.
When I told him I could kick a field goal and I told you I could kick a field goal, he lost it.
Oh, yeah.
He lost it. Like there's moments I've said things where I remember one time when I was a kid, I was telling Bill this. I was praying in church. I was 10 years old. We just done communion, and I got up and sat in the pew, and my dad said, "Hey, buddy, what'd you pray to God for?" And I said, "I just thanked him." And he's like, "For what?" And I said, "All these God-given talents." And my dad said, looked at confused. He goes, "What God-given talents?" I go, "I don't know. Name one." I got a ton. I really, that's the way my brain operates.
Yeah.
And Burr is not that guy. He's like, work hard to pay your dues.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you told me that you could probably, for 6 months of training or something, or 3 months of training,
stand by this.
You'd kick in the NFL.
By the way, I think
you said it to me with a straight face.
I think it's about explosivity. Now,
do you have any of that in your body?
I gave a speech to my daughter in the car yesterday about explosivity.
It's real, though. It's real.
It is.
And I think you with your Mickey Mantle jeans.
That's my Mickey Mantle jeans. I ran a marathon with no training. Come on.
All right. What you just heard there was a man talking.
I'm about to open a beer. Are we going to come back?
Yeah, well, we got to break in a minute and 15 seconds. So I don't know how we're going to close it. But Bert Kreischer lives by this Mickey Mantle gene, right?
Mickey Mantle gene's real. It's a guy who can go hard all night, show up in the morning, and play ball. Mm-hmm. That it's Babe Ruth had it. Mickey Mantle had it. And then there's guys that, like
Bert Kreischer.
Oh, definitely. Dude, definitely. I guarantee you I could throw up 225 right now.
We got it over there. We got it in the building.
I know what we're doing after break.
Bert, you're one of the most special individuals that ever exist. Honestly, I've the fact that the Van Wilder movies were basically based off of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the Machine, a Russian mafia train robbery video, is off of your life.
I always say and that's not the most interesting things about me. You should see. By the way, you should see my What Will the Maid Think? Brilliant. Honestly, I wanted to do a series where I showed you all the reasons you should love me, what makes me amazing, because I have so many things I've done where I go, hey, wait, shut up. That happened too?
By the way, thank God for those given talents of yours. Yeah.
Dear God, thank you for all the God-given talents. I remember saying that. Jimmy Giles was at that.
How about 4 seconds? Can you get it in?
Jimmy Giles was there.
One by one, it's happening. People are freeing themselves from the hassle and frustration of their wireless contracts. It's a movement towards something simple. Simple Mobile. Truly unlimited, high-speed talk, text, and data on a 5G-ready network. And no contract. Ever.
Get truly unlimited data on a 5G-ready network for just $45 a month. Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
It's the perfect occasion for a mental vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication. 2 hours of magic, let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Just completely missed add to an hour one. That's 100% on me. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here. Feel Good Friday, February 21st. Hour 2 is kicking off in a beautiful fashion. A little smoky in here. I believe there are some vitamins found. At Nick Bernaldo's here. Tone Diggs is here. Ty Schmidt is here. Jason McAfee is here. Cuban Zeke is here with a nice cigar from Iowa. At Evan Fox. Hey, Cuban Zeke. Legendary character.
I love it.
Yeah, oh yeah. When you guys meet off air out there, you guys are going to fall in love with each other.
Dude, it's about your eulogy. Like when you look at a guy like this, people are going to say great things about you at your funeral.
It's your roots.
I want to plan my funeral properly so I have the right person crying at the right time. Who's going to close my funeral? That's the question. Who's going to be the last person to speak?
And that voice you just heard is Bert Kreischer.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
The last person that's going to speak at his funeral is potentially a good friend of his and world-renowned genius and billionaire, I think, at this point. The man who once hosted Fear Factor now owns the world, basically. Joe Rogan, good friend of yours. What is he like?
Joe's going to open my funeral. I would like him to speak first because then we got everyone's attention. You can't.
Yeah, true.
Joe's going to open it. I want Tom Segura to close it because when a fat guy cries, it's so emotional. It's like that scene from Deliverance. Like when you're like, wow, this is real. Yeah. Joe's an amazing guy. He's super generous. So like I was saying this to you off air, you got to be careful with what you say around him because if you say something like, "Yeah, I was looking at smokers the other day," the next day there's a smoker at your house.
Oh, that's cool. By the way,
it's cool, but you just go. I have a hard time asking for things. So when he and you don't even have to ask with him. He'll just be let me. I have a guy at Traeger. Let me hook you up. I have a guy at Green Mountain Grills. Let me hook you up. I was running on treadmills. I was saying I could run a 7-minute mile, and Joe's like, "That's not real running. That's not real running." Next day, there's the Air Assault fitness trainer at my house. It's like a $5,000 treadmill, and you're just like, and no note, no nothing. It's just at your house. And
by the way, he feels good doing that. I bet. You know what I mean? Like, there's probably not a lot of things that make him feel good at this point, right?
But you know how many people – there are people that are oblivious to it and ask him for everything, and I always am very careful that I don't ever want to be that guy. Yeah. I mean, people do my podcast just to meet Joe. Like, they'll do my podcast at the end. They're like, hey, man, can you get me on Rogan? And you're like, ugh. No, I can't.
By the way, if you don't want me to put this entire conversation we just had out because I can't get you on Rogan, I'm so sorry I disappointed you like that.
And you like, and there are people that like good friends of mine that are like, hey man, please hook me up with Rogan. It'll change my career. And you're like, man, that's not how it works. If he likes you, and he finds you, and he's interested in you, he'll have you on his podcast. Other than that, you just got to play. I mean, just hang out. Just be a regular human.
So when I started playing for the Colts, right?
Yeah.
All my friends wanted autographs from Peyton Manning.
Okay? Oh, yeah.
So I had to start forging Peyton Manning's You might hear right now, or you might see right now somewhere on eBay, and it's a McAfee Manning signature because I got tired of asking him. Like, he and I we became friends for a little bit there, right? He wanted me to drink around him. He wanted me to have, we became, like, friendly. And it got to the point where I was like, it's weird asking a friend for an autograph for another friend at, like, a very regular rate. So I literally just... I didn't want to disappoint these people either. I'm like, I haven't changed. I want to let you know, I have not, just because I'm hanging out with him, it doesn't mean I've changed. So I'm just going to go ahead and forge this signature. It's close. I mean, if they were to Google it, but the real people would know it's fake. It's an awkward situation, though, whenever you're dealing with one of the most famous people on earth, which Rogan is, Peyton Manning is. Those people, it's very interesting because you get a chance to see them live, you get a chance to see them work, but then everything else that comes with it, people don't know about.
And it's hard to compartmentalize advice they give you because they've done everything on such a big level that when he pulls you aside and it's like, hey man, that joke sucks, you go, oh, guess it's out. As opposed to you'd fight for it if it was just an average friend. But you look at Joe. Like I had a joke about me and my wife bought a house we got it. An alert came through Redfin. By the way, this joke's gonna bomb. An alert came,
No, we'll put it over. Hey, we'll put it. Everybody ready? Everybody, put your best fake laughing faces on. Here we go. I'll put it over.
An alert came up on Redfin. My wife then texted our agent. The agent. That's not yet. It's not yet. I'll give you some eyes. You'll know. By the way, I know when to put my own joke over. You'll know when the read comes. So she sent it to the agent. Our agent sent it to the other agent. The other agent just texted the buyer. The buyer said they want to put in an offer. We put in an offer. We didn't even go on the market. We're sitting at this house the other day, and I said to my wife, I go, "This is amazing." She goes, "We got this through technology. Like, we would never have gotten this house if it wasn't technology." And then I looked at my wife, and I was like, I wonder what kind of wife I would have gotten had I used technology. And because I met her old school, where you just had a picture, and you had to wait 5 days until you were like, oh, she has fat ankles. I'm already in love with her. And so,
way to save that.
And so, yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
And so Rogan just goes, I don't like that joke. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, it sounds like you're not in love with your wife. And I was like, no, I am. And he goes, yeah, you are. So don't make it like you're not. Like, be real to who you are. Like, and then you're like, well, God, it's just a joke, man. Like, you're like, man, it's when, especially I have all new materials. So you're like, man, I'm trying everything right now. I mean, I ripped my shirt off, man. Have you seen my ass?
That does separate you, though. By the way,
yeah,
you are. And by the way, I don't think it's a character for you. Like, I think you.
It's Florida, man. It's pro wrestling. It's the Hulk Hogan, Randy Macho Man Savage, Paul Orndorff, like that kind of vibe. Is Florida. Take your shirt off. I so much of me is defined by Florida that I didn't even realize. Like, I won't say no to cocaine often. And that is Florida, man.
And Atlanta,
by the way. If people offer you, dude, I just smoked weed with you guys. I have 2 shows tonight. I don't say no to drugs because of Florida. Like, I don't, even if I don't want to do them, growing up in Florida, I knew 2 dudes without tongues in Florida. That's Florida. Tongueless Brett and I saw a dude get struck by lightning. Dude, I mean, there's so much about me that's Florida that I just forget, and then you're like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Have you ever searched Florida Man on Twitter?
I know those dudes.
I saw a guy last week, no tongue, Yeah.
Tongueless Brett. Those are real people, by the way. Like, I wish it was an act, but yeah, Florida's aggressive growing up.
When did you move to LA? How old were you?
I don't know. I graduated college when I was 25, and then I moved to New York. Took classes through the Florida State prison system.
Nice. Smart.
Yeah, that's what they didn't have. The internet wasn't big back then. And so you had to they gave you a box of books and then a bunch of tests, and they were like, fill out the tests, send them back. And
my God.
Dude, it was
can I get a prison doctorate?
It was so hard.
Do they still do it? It was hard?
It was so hard. Because the internet wasn't there. You couldn't just type in the question and then get the answer and cut and paste. You had to read the book. Yeah. I'd never read a book. The first book I ever read was The Firm. That's how, I read The Firm and I was like, I guess I'm a reader now, huh?
I've never read a book as well, by the way. Believe it or not. That's something I don't know how people have the time.
I don't know.
How do you have the time?
Well, they're boring.
And by the way, just staring at a piece of paper?
Better than the movie, though. I get it. Better than the movie.
Dude, my problem, I read Memoirs of a Geisha. This is an old joke, but this is true.
Okay, here we go.
I had never seen, when I read a book, I put the characters that I cast it in my head, but I didn't know a lot of Asian actors, so I was like, I guess she'll be played by Mr. Miyagi. And her father will be played by Mr. Miyagi. No, I'm really bad with reading entirely, and I can't even listen. By the way, I can't even listen to audiobooks because my mind just starts skating away, and I'm in a totally different place. Oh yeah, thinking about ways to sell a tour. That's my brain is such a marketing brain. It is ridiculous.
Oh yes, all the time.
Dude, we went to the XFL game. I was telling you this. Me and Bert went to the XFL. All I could do was sit and think of ways they could fix it.
Do you think this is the Mickey Mantle gene? Because I think I potentially have this as well. Hold on. Anything you see, anything I'm a part of, right? I'm like, man, I feel like we should be doing this differently, this differently, this differently. It's everything. It's almost like it's annoying at one point because it's like you can't really sit and enjoy something. You're like, they should have done this instead. It is very, very an interesting time to be in my brain.
I do it even worse. If I see someone doing something wrong, I'll correct them.
Oh, you can't do that, Brett. You can't. Bert, you can't do that.
At a party, there's a woman cutting an avocado, and I don't know her, and I go, you're doing that wrong. And she went, excuse me? I said, you're cutting that avocado wrong. And she went, this is how I cut an avocado. And I said, yeah, and you're doing it wrong. And she was like, I don't know you. And I said, I'm sorry. I go, initially, I thought you were my wife. And she goes, you talk to your wife like that? And I was like, yeah. And she listens. That's why you have good avocados. She was cutting an avocado like she had never seen an avocado. Slice, 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 slice.
Scoop it up.
Spoon it, cut it up with a spoon.
Yeah, no
unless you
idea.
work at Subway, where they cut avocados like savages. Have you seen the way they cut avocados at Subway?
I held out on Subway after the
Jared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to get out of there. He was already forced down my throat, right? Like, hey, I get it.
Easy, forced down my throat. Hey, seriously, sometimes I will sit there and go like in an epiphany, like Jared Fogel's still in jail.
Oh yeah,
like he really did that.
Is he?
Hey, he's in Indiana. He's in Indiana. He's
real?
from Indiana. Like he obviously made a lot of money for being an obese man and losing weight. And,
Yeah.
I think he ate sandwiches maybe once a day or something like that. But whatever the story, maybe once a week. Who knows what it was? But he got a lot of money. He lived up here in Indiana. And like a lot of my teammates, right?
Yeah.
Whenever there was helicopters circling his house, like they were group texting in our group text, like taking pictures and sending like, something's going on over here. And then all of a sudden news breaks. It's like, yeah, he lived right up here.
I
Jared Fogle,
can't
Indiana guy.
believe like stuff like that. Like I can't believe.
Oh, I saw him in a VIP section 2 times at clubs.
No way.
Whenever I was like a rookie in second year, I'd be in like a back section of an Indiana nightclub on like a Tuesday night or something like that. So you know how that is probably. It is.
Indiana nightclub.
It is lit, right? And they're like, "You want a VIP section?" I'm like, "No, like there's literally nobody here. The whole place is kind of feels like a VIP place right now." They're like, "Oh, well, in the back, a guy wants to meet you." I'm like, "Awesome." I go back there. It's Subway guy, Jared Fogle. He's like got like bottle service back there. He's like
Gambling on a bum fight. Hey, I'll take the one with no teeth.
This guy is the worst. All right, let's get back to you.
Yes.
How long does it take for you to put together a set like this Birdie Boy World Tour? You just toured last time. Was it a different set from that one? Is it a whole new one?
Brand new set. It takes me. Honestly, I could up a new set immediately because even like towards the end of doing a tour, you're so exhausted with that material that you're writing. You're already writing. So like I was ready to do a new hour, probably the second I got done this hour.
I can't. So I've done stand-up comedy before.
You did a special with never doing it, and you wrote an hour right off the bat. So
94 minutes.
that's called the Mickey Mantle gene.
It wasn't great, though. If you look back, I mean, it's good. It's not great. But if I had to tell it again,
Yeah.
couldn't do it. Like, that's the thing about me. That's why I have so much respect for the stand-up comedians of the world. And I've done stand-up comedy, but I'm not a stand-up comedian because I can't do it back to back to back. Does that make sense? It's like a celebration when I tell it. All of my energy is used, and then it's like if I had to do it again, like you're doing 2 shows tonight, I could never do that.
So what we do is we try to like if I told a story here that worked, that is the best I'll ever tell it because it's in the moment. Mm-hmm. What the key to stand up is finding that energy again and finding those beats.
Yeah, how?
And then sharing it. And it's just repetition, just telling it on stage enough times where you skinny it up. Like for some reason, when you tell it in the moment, it's got the perfect amount of space in between it in the moment.
Yeah.
But then the second you tell it the second time, you start adding stuff. You're like, well, if you liked that,
There's more.
did I tell you what I was wearing? And so that's the key is just finding those moments again and you know, I have a great story about a raffle. The raffle was like $40 and I put in 360 and to win all the prizes. And it's a true story. And it's the first time I told it was so killer. I have a story about finding a kid that I found a child one time. I told it the day I found that child, I told that story to a group of people at 4th of July, and it murdered so hard. It's such a great story. And it murdered so hard that I literally pretended to go to the bathroom and went back to my daughter's room and started writing down beats. And then I came back.
What are the beats? You're like, pause here.
The number one beat is when I found the child. I said, where's your mom? He said, I don't know. I said, what's her name? He goes, I don't know. And I'm like, big important beat. Right? Big important beat. I said, what's your dad? Is your dad here? And he goes, yes. I said, what's your dad's name? He goes, David, maybe Michael? Big important beats, right? Big important beats. But I told it that first time, and it murdered so hard. I took it on stage, and it bombed like watching your parents have sex bomb. Like that uncomfortable.
How do you handle bombing? Are you self-aware? I've been to a couple shows around here. And I got into I enjoy watching stand-up comedy. I'll go watch some shows and I'll be in like the back of the. I don't even think people have a clue that I'm there, right? And there's like not a lot of people there, and I'll watch shows. I enjoy it, but there's some people who just lack complete self-awareness. Like I think there's some people that should acknowledge the fact that hey, there is nobody enjoying what I'm saying. I am punishing these people in these clubs every time I get up there, and I feel like they think they crushed.
Yeah, but that's the problem is that you can't say that to them because the person I've seen bomb hardest in my life is Tom Segura. Tom Segura bombed one time.
Hilarious individual.
He bombed. This is back when he had hair and he used to comb it back. And he bombed so bad. He was doing 25 minutes. We were in Sacramento that he started to sweat. And the comb of his hair started flattening hair, right? So the sweat would drop a piece. And at one point, there was just one fin of hair down the center of his head. Just one combed fin hair that was sitting there. And as he'd move, it would wobble. And the audience was watching this piece of hair wobble. And all of a sudden, he told a joke. It didn't go well. And the hair collapsed. And everyone went, oh! And then Tom got off stage. He's like, what happened?
How do you handle it? Do you drink? Oh, yeah.
No, I don't drink on stage.
Never?
No. Like even today, I'll probably go back, take a nap, and then get up, work out. I take a drink with me on stage, but if I drink on stage, I'm a mess.
How about anything? Do you smoke?
No.
Nothing.
If I smoke pot, what happens is I think in paragraph form, but I speak in sentence form. So I'll go like, oh, never mind.
I had a moment in front of a crowd that was very hilarious. We did a tour. The first time I ever did 4 shows in a row, 4 nights in a row. And first night crushed, did really well. Second night, it was my first time ever having to tell the same stories again in front of people, right? Literally first time ever, never done it before. So in the middle of the show, people were laughing at stuff. And I was getting sick of the stories though already because I just told it the night before. By the third night, I was like, while I was telling the stories, I'm like, how are these people even laughing at this story? This thing is not even funny. But then by the fourth night, it was a celebration, right? It's the last one. Let's have a good time. So I took an edible before the show, which by the way, it's probably like my 6th time on stage at this point, 7th time on stage. And it didn't hit. And I was like, I want to enjoy the night. So I take another one, right?
That's a good call.
Yeah.
It's like, I think that's what it says on the package. If you don't feel this in 15 minutes, double down.
So I go on stage and start talking. It was great. It's brilliant. It's the edible 101 basically. It's going to hit. So I go on stage. I start talking for like 10, 15 minutes, going well. And then all of a sudden I just feel this massive wave hit my brain. And I'm like, oh, no. Oh, no. And I have a bottle of wine on the stage. It's like an hourglass, basically, right? So you watch that thing, you'll know when it's about over because I'm going to take big swigs out of it. I go back and start sipping out of that thing, and my friends are sitting side stage, and I'm like, everything just hit me right now. Those people that were at that show had no idea that they were potentially a minute and a half from a lot of self-talk away from a full, like, I can't do this. I got to get out of here. I had to have a full conversation with myself. I was like, oh, come on, dude. You cannot do this right now. You're in the middle of an NFL career. You got a lot going on. And then finally talked myself out of it, and I did the rest of the set, right? And I went a little bit deeper in some stories, but I think it was an overall good time. I went back and sat in, like, the green room or whatever afterwards all by myself, and I was like, well, I think we just learned we don't do the edibles before shows. I had no idea that they were potentially a minute and a half from a lot of self-talk away from a full, like, I can't do this. I got to get out of here. I had to have a full conversation with myself. I was like, oh, come on, dude. You cannot do this right now. You're in the middle of an NFL career. You got a lot going on. And then finally talked myself out of it, and I did the rest of the set, right? And I went a little bit deeper in some stories, but I think it was an overall good time. I went back and sat in, like, the green room or whatever afterwards all by myself, and I was like, well, I think we just learned we don't do the edibles before shows. It was a wild move. And I learned, I thought all comedians were up on stage like intoxicated.
Oh, no.
That's not the case at all.
I said to Burr one time I was drinking and I got on stage and it didn't go well. And I was like, God, man, I feel like when I drink it never goes well. And he goes, yeah, that's why they don't let you drive when you drink.
But afterwards, you will.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, I think you're the biggest partier with your fans I've ever seen.
I like to. Here's the deal: is I try to do what I like as a fan. I look at everything as a fan. That's why I found you. Is I'm a fan. I like being a fan of stuff.
I appreciate it. That means I'm a massive fan of yours.
Dude, when I see just the XFL interview you did with the guy.
Yeah.
When on the sidelines and you just, it was such a great. You're so good at being in the moment and caring about the thing you ask, which I connect with immediately. Dude, watching you on Thursday nights with college football, I love that. I love that. But I love being a fan of stuff. There's certain people that got in the business. John Travolta, I don't think is a fan of anything but himself. No, I'm not crapping on John Travolta, but like that's just
what a random person.
But like it's
real, though.
stars. Like I don't think Tom Cruise is a fan of a lot of stuff. Dude, I'm a fan of a lot of stuff. I had a kid come up to me one time as a New Year's Eve show. We were in St. West Palm. I'm shirtless. I'm doing the meet and greet. And this guy's wasted, right? Florida wasted. And he's like, dude, you got to give me just 5 minutes. And I'm like, ugh. He goes, I'm a fan of yours. And he knows that I've talked about being a fan of stuff. He goes, do you know what that means? And I was like, yeah, I know. And he goes, no, I don't think you do. He goes, I don't have anything going on in my life. So when you succeed, I feel like I succeeded because I chose you. And I went, that's how it works with NFL teams. Like, look at the Packers. There's a lot of people that don't have a lot going on in their life, but when the Packers win, they feel like they won. And I went, oh my God, that's totally true. Like when I see you on Thursday football, I feel like I got on Thursday football. Because I go, I picked him early. Like I found him before anyone knew about him. Like I'm a fan. Like that's the way a good fan. And I was like, oh yeah, don't walk away from your fandom. And then if you're going to be an entertainer, don't ignore that. Don't immediately go, oh, I'm out. Dave Attell is the biggest fan of Dave Attell. There's never been a comedian better. He's the best comedian in the world. All I wanted to do was have a beer with him when I started comedy. That's all I wanted. I wanted to have a beer with him and him to say like, hey man, maybe do a shot together. Mm-hmm. I know there's people out there that want to do that with me. I want to make sure that I fulfill to them what Dave fulfilled to me one time where he goes, hey man, let's go get a drink. And you're like, I remember going like,
oh my God.
oh
my God.
I mean, David tells, he just texted me oddly enough, randomly. Yeah, and I'm like, and my heart skipped a beat. I told him I'd fly him out for the St. Patty's Day show.
Oh.
I was like, yeah. Secret time. We're doing a big St. Patty's Day show.
Yeah, by the way, every time you get on a microphone, you just start. That's what Secret Time, your special, is about how you just really say things you're not supposed to say whenever you get on a microphone.
Secret Time was the best name to any special I've ever done. My new special is called Hey Big Boy. That comes out St. Patty's Day. That's why I'm throwing a party at the big lineup. I'm not going to say names. Sebastian Maniscalco, Tom Segura, whatever. But I stay Secret Time all the time. I said to Bill at the game when we did XFL, I said, Secret Time, man, I've never been attracted to like I said I've always been attracted to older women. Like I've never, even when I was like 17, there was something not fully there with 17-year-old girls for me. Like I always wanted the Susan Sarandon from Bull Durham, you know? Like I wanted to be
the XFL game?
Yeah, Bill's like, what? Why are we talking about this? I thought, by the way, I can fix the XFL.
Here we go. Let's get some pens and papers out here.
Number one, they need to do a thing where they let corporations buy positions for the game. So they're like, all right, ladies from Kellogg's, it's Bill from accounting. He'll be the quarterback until the defense takes him out. And just watch this one dude live his dream and just watch just know that they'll light this dude up. They're like, he's still standing. Can't believe this. It's 3rd and long. I think it's going to be a pass play. Wow. But I think they should do that.
All right. Hey.
The number one flaw with the XFL is they're playing to win.
Idiots.
That's not why I'm there.
No.
I came to watch you play. I didn't come to watch you win. I don't care about the Wildcats. I don't care personally if the Wildcats win. That doesn't affect my day, okay? I just met you guys. You're a side chick, all right? Uh-huh. I need you to show me some razzle-dazzle. If you're a side chick, I don't want to watch a movie with you, right? No, I do that with my wife. I want to snort coke off your ass. I need the XFL to let me snort coke off their ass. That is my plan. I want every play to be Stanford UCLA.
Yep. Yeah.
I want everything.
Annexation of Puerto Rico.
Dude,
double forward pass. Let's make it triple forward pass.
I need so many forward passes. I want it to look illegal and everyone to go, they can do that here? The whole game, we were just sitting there and these guys, everyone behind us is going, score!
Yeah.
And it's like.
Hold on, I have a question. Have you ever told this story on stage before right here, this whole thing?
No.
Have you ever sat in front of Joe Rogan?
No.
Well, so Joe Rogan's going to say no to it, but I think the rest of the world will say yes to it.
Oh, yeah.
Because you just said, if you're my wife, I'll watch a movie with you. If you're a side chick, and Joe Rogan's going to be like, well, you don't want to do that, though. But it crushed in here. I think that's a great. That's probably my favorite XFL take I've heard, and you're not even in the football world.
I think they should light a guy on fire. Like it should be the movie Semi-Pro.
Yes.
It really should be the movie Semi-Pro, and get us to become fans of your league. Because I'll tell you, want to know the real secret?
Yeah. Secret time.
Number one, they should change this crap of the Los Angeles Wildcats, call it the Southern California Wildcats, and only recruit from Pac-12 teams, right? So then you're going, oh, I went to USC.
This is smart.
This is my guy. I'm going to buy his jersey.
This is really smart.
There's a guy named Whitfield that plays for the Wildcats, and he went to Florida State. And I got up in the middle of the game. I was drunk and high, but I was like, I'm gonna go buy his jersey. I'm gonna buy his jersey. But let alone they don't sell jerseys at the XFL games.
Oh, really?
I think they're one-offs. They make one jersey and then you wear it. I don't know if they make a ton of them.
Overhead. Hey, look
yeah.
overhead.
It's a brand new league.
Yeah, brand new league. All right, brand new league.
But I was like, I'm gonna buy his jersey, and then I stopped and I was like, oh, bro, I bet everyone I wouldn't be shocked if everyone would be like, I watched that guy play all through college.
So smart.
Now he's here. I'm going to buy his jersey. I love that guy.
It's regional teams. It's smart, by the way. That
really
is very,
smart.
very smart. That's you already have a built-in fan base then, because the player has already built in his own fans. Imagine if Tim Tebow, after it didn't work in whatchamacallit, and he was
back the truck up for Tim Tebow, Colin Kaepernick. Those are the guys I want to see playing.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Put him against the Florida Hurricanes or whatever they're called, whatever the tornadoes.
Vipers.
Tampa Bay Vipers.
Tampa Vipers.
Wow, they called them the Tampa Bay Vipers when Stripper was right there. If they called them the Tampa Bay Strippers and they barely wore clothes over their pads, I mean, I don't know why I'm not in a marketing brain.
This is your marketing brain, by the way.
This is my marketing brain.
Have we done a break yet?
No.
We got to go to a break.
Do you think they're going to hear this and then just steal my ideas?
Yeah.
Probably.
By the way, I think it's what the NFL did with me.
Really?
Well, yeah. I mean, I pitched basically the entire proposal that they're publicly pitching.
What's that?
Well, the 17 games. They didn't add an extra bye week, though. That's where they messed up. Players, I think, would have agreed to that.
Yeah.
An extra 1.5% money, I guess. I didn't pitch that. But the people do steal ideas whenever you talk.
All right, Vince, you can have those.
Hey, look at you looking out. By the way, for what he did with Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, and yourself as a child, you're giving Vince something back.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Hey, look at you.
Hey! Wait till I tell you my idea off air.
When's the last time you were driving through a storm and thought, wow, I love not being able to see a damn thing when I drive?
Oh, that's why I have
the Michelin Endurance XD silicone wiper blades. These blades last through everything. To prove it, listen to this, Bert. Michelin just put their new Endurance XD silicone wiper blades to the ultimate test on a world record-breaking 16,000-mile drive, Bert. That's the Birdie Boy World Tour.
16,000-mile drive?
Yeah, from Alaska. Think about this, Bert. Alaska. He drove from all the way from there to Argentina. Think about that.
That guy behind you.
That
Bert.
guy right there. Bert, that's him. That's the guy. Right?
Oh,
yeah.
Get out. You telling me that guy sat for You're telling me that guy didn't get up and exercise in a rest area for someone ate John Kruk and then drove all the way. He took time off his bass fishing tournament. That poor guy. I'm so sorry, sir.
Well, he drove and put these Michelin Endurance XT.
This is how this read starts with him starting the car. Goes, these blades better work. All right, we got something. Let's go. Pouring a Mountain Dew into a 32-ounce growler. Hey, pass me those chocolate-covered donuts. I'm so sorry, sir. You're a joke. You're a punchline. I'm not talking about you as this person. I need another cold beer. That weed was perfect.
Anyways, Rainier Zeitlo, the man that we just referred to, he took this car on a long drive. You hear me? Yep. It was a long drive. And the wiper blades sustained all of it. Listen to this, Bert. It survived. The wiper blades survived ice, okay?
Yeah.
Snow, rain, wind, and listen to this, thunder. Thunder.
Really?
Yeah. Feel the thunder. Thunder. These blades are crafted for extreme weather performance with an advanced quad tech 4-layer coated silicone that repels water, snow, and ice. The Michelin Endurance XC silicone wiper blades are available today only at Walmart. They last 2 times longer. We're back.
Oh, we're
the
back?
Pat McAfee Show. No, we gotta go.
Okay.
At Simple Mobile, you get the no contract advantage. Unlimited talk, text, and data now for $30 a month. Now on a 5G ready network with no activation fees and no contract ever. That's our best deal ever. Simple Mobile, out with the old, in with the simple.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. The sound you just heard there was legendary human named the Machine, Bert Kreischer, cracking open another cool Bud Light.
What I feel like right now is perfect, right?
Yeah,
it's like you're in the pocket, you're giggling. You're not too drunk. No one can hear it in your voice yet.
A little raspy, but nobody can. Yeah, there's not slurring or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could feel like this all the time.
Bottle it. I don't know how we do it. Yeah, well, you do actually. We know how we do it. I know how we do it, but it's just vitamins. Big vitamin guy. Massive vitamin. And not in Indiana, obviously, because it's not it's not legal. But like whenever we go to states, it's legal. Big time into that stuff.
I do love marijuana, just the right amount. I smoked half an ounce with Joey Diaz and Tom Segura for the Netflix series we did. I had a cigar guy roll. He rolled 2 half-ounce joints. Oh. Tom and I smoked a misdemeanors amount, but Joey took the heavy lifting. He smoked that. He smoked it down.
So how's it work in LA? You go do stand-up, you crush, you start blowing up, and then Netflix is like, hey, we want you to write this for us. We want you to do a stand-up special for us. Is that kind of what happened? And is this like what you always dreamed of?
This is what I always dreamed of, but that's not how it works. How it works is I don't even know. It's just waiting. It's just waiting, I think, and hoping. I got to a place where I just stopped. I didn't feel like – it's when I met you. I didn't feel like anyone was giving me a chance, and I was like, I got to make my own way. And I remember Rogan by the way, I can't express enough how important Joe and Bill, 2 of my really good friends, and Tom even, have been in my life. Joe told me, get away from Travel Channel. Bill said the same thing. Get away from Travel Channel. Just do stand-up. So I did stand-up, and then I started diving into –
What you do on Travel Channel?
I had a show for like 8 years.
Oh, my God. I feel terrible.
And no one ever saw it. I had 4 shows.
I feel so bad. 8 years is how long I was in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
That's a long – hey, by the way, that's a long time.
It was like being a stripper. Great money, great times, but you weren't going anywhere. Burr one night goes, what's your nut? Like, tell me what your nut is. And I told him, and he was like, oh, yeah, you can make that in stand-up. Get away from that channel. Your show sucks. Joe told me so many times, your show is horrible, man. Just do stand-up. And so my business plan, when I got fired from Travel Channel, sadly, but my business plan was to find cool stuff. Yeah, find cool stuff, and then dive headfirst into that. Create your own content. Do that. Like what you're doing right here, what I'm doing with my podcast. I have 3 podcasts, a cooking show. I do Instagram. Is just to make cool stuff and then to find cool stuff and to be involved with it. Because I feel like cool people listen to this. And if you like this, you'd like me. Like that's stay in your lane. I found a show called Hot Ones where you eat hot ones.
Oh, yeah.
Hot wings.
Hey, it's doing okay.
I found him before anyone knew the show.
How happy were you for him then as he was just blowing up?
Dude, I love Sean. I love Sean. And there's been iterations of that where he's hit me up. He's like, dude, MTV wants to buy the show. What do I do? And you're like, oh, just buckle down. Don't do it. Because what he's doing is flawless. It's a great show, and he's a great interviewer.
And it's a great setup.
Yeah.
It's a great – everything nowadays, right? Like Cold as Balls with Kevin Hart. Like everything's about where you're doing the interview. Dave Portnoy's pizza reviews. Everything's about how you do the interview. Yeah. That setup is a masterful setup. It's very smart
I tried to do my version of that called One Bottle with Bert.
How's it go?
It did not work well because no one wanted to get hammered and just talk trash. I'm cool with it. Like I say regrettable stuff all the time. All the time. Like if cancel culture is coming for me, I can tell you the podcast to listen to. Like I've said stuff that I regret. I said it the other day. Like
come on, you can't though. We're at the point now, Bert, where you're a lot of people's idols. We can't just get you, written off the script of life here.
Oh, it'll happen. I'm ready for it. When it happens, I think it'll be like the way they say a prisoner lays in his bed when he's been arrested and he's guilty because he sleeps a good night. I think I'll have the best night's sleep when cancel culture finally gets me and I'm like, I knew it was happening. I can't believe it was just that.
You want to take a call from Miami?
Please.
Chris in Miami. What's
¿Cómo
up,
está usted?
Hey, Bert.
Aquí estamos, mi amigo.
What's up, brother?
Hola, ¿cómo estás, amigos? ¿Todo bien?
Hola. Sí.
Oye, Cuban G, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, bien, ¿y tú?
Oh, bien, papo, bien.
Hey, I feel like our show's growing. Like, you know what I mean? This is good. If we could do more foreign languages, I would like that, personally. Anyways, Chris, what do you want to ask Bert?
Hey, Bert, man, speaking of those podcasts you were talking about, I listened to Two Bears, One Cave the other day and heard you started smoking heaters. Congrats on that.
Oh, thanks, man. I started smoking cigarettes recently.
Yeah, I wanted to find out which ones. I wanted to find out which ones you're smoking.
Oh, American Spirits, man. It's what cool kids smoke.
You just why did you just
why
just
not,
because?
Right? Yeah, just why not?
Florida.
And then I'll quit and just show everyone I can quit.
Hey, listen, that cold turkey thing's real, and I can do it. Here it is. No big deal. Count it down as another accomplishment, says Bert. Okay, we're going to get to a break here before we wrap up the hour. We were 27 minutes late on the first break.
Oh, that was me. I'm sorry.
No.
That was it.
No, I feel like the radio rules in us. I mean, we fluster with them. We got chewed out by like a new syndicate. There's, when you get syndicated, it's a pretty cool thing. You grow, obviously. There's a couple stations that picked us up, and they didn't get it early, right? We missed our break times. And then a hard out. I just talked right into the hard out. And they're like, our listeners are worried that you're playing by different rules or blah, blah, blah. So the next time for like 2 straight shows, I just like mid-conversation on the way out. It's a whole new world, this radio world. It's like backing into the old days. Maybe we should start smoking American spirits too.
Hey,
Love it.
I'll tell you what, man. Cigarettes feel good. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
That guy back there is from Boston. He used to smoke like 4 packs a day.
In my prime.
It was unbelievable. He's an idiot. If you're listening to this right,
Here it is. It is. Is it what it is?
all right, yep. If you're listening to this show right now, okay, or if you're on this show right now,
Yes.
I want you to take a second and just look down at your crotch. When was the last time you shaved your junk, Bert?
Oh, they got the 3.0s with the light, the LED light.
Oh, yeah. You know about the LED light?
Are you kidding me? I trim my mustache with that thing.
Well, you could get a couple of them because they're so affordable. You have one for your crotch, one for your face.
I call it going ATM.
A lot of people call it that. Anyways, the Perfect Package 3.0 is a 3rd-generation trimmer with a cutting-edge ceramic blade. You already heard about the light-up thing that, illuminates your trimming areas. And right now, the Perfect Package 3.0 also includes anti-chafing performance boxer briefs. You know what I mean? So for that Mickey Mantle gene, you just put those on, run a marathon.
I have those in my house. I'm a big fan of this company.
Me too.
Big fan.
Me too. And it looks good, by the way, on the bathroom. You know what I mean?
It's a great charger.
Great charger.
And it lasts. The charge lasts, I think, for 16 hours. The charge is ridiculous. I absolutely love this company.
When I used the lawnmower 1.0, okay, when we first got that, and then the 2.0, the first time I shaved with the 1.0 though,
Yeah.
I was going to do just the, I was going to trim the bushes so the tree stood taller.
You mean trim back the bushes so there's more sidewalk? I know what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about let's go from shrub to redwood real quick. But anyways, I mess around. I just shaved my entire lower half. Shaved my legs, shaved the whole thing just because it was the smoothest butter. That's what the lawnmower does. You're an idiot. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code America.
You shaved your whole body.
Whole bottom half. Whole bottom half. Even the toes.
You couldn't stop.
Couldn't do it.
It's like the first time I shaved my face, I shaved up above my forehead.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. I've never known my dad did it this way. Oh.
Yeah, whole body.
Oh.
Anyways, manscaped.com, code America or code. What's your code for?
Bears, Bill Bert, and Bertcast.
All right, so use code Bears, Bill Bert, and Bertcast or America at manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code America, Bears, Bill Bert, and Bertcast at manscaped.com. Use code, you got it. Your partner and your family jewels will thank you. This is Pat McAfee Show. We're back closing out hour 2 here.
How much time do we have left?
When we get back, we'll have 6 minutes. We'll take phone calls.
Okay, yeah, good call.
All right. Hey, this is the Pat McAfee. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you.
It's happening. People are freeing themselves from their wireless contracts. It's a movement towards something simple. Get truly unlimited data on a 5G-ready network for just $45 a month, with no contracts ever. Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
Got all our ads, all our breaks in. Great conversation. I mean, I feel like this is a masterful radio show today. We've only been in this a couple months, but I feel like this is the
for real?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great, man. This is awesome.
It's dumb, Bert.
I'll tell you what, if you could just move this in, like put this on a flatbed truck and take it places so that other people could do it too. Because Indianapolis is a tough get.
It's tough to get to here. It is
yeah.
very tough to get to here. It actually is.
It's not actually tough.
Who's this? Who's this, by the way?
This is Dave Williamson. This is one of my openers.
Dave Williamson, what's up, man? You're wearing a meat hat.
Dave is obsessed with barbecue. He'll
Really?
be smoking tonight
Dave,
at
you
my
want to
show.
sit down right there, Dave? Sure. I don't know if we have it. Here.
He'll be smoking a brisket, a couple briskets that he's getting today outside my tour bus. And then tonight, after the show, if you want some brisket, come to my tour bus and Dave will have brisket for you.
Not a
Yeah,
bad
I found the
gig.
butcher shop.
By the way, I told this to, I forget who I told this to, and they go, hold on, you guys tailgate for your own shows?
Hey, somebody's got to, man.
Somebody's got, dude, we were in Florida, and the cops came and were like, oh, we're getting shut down. And they were like, you guys are tailgating out here? This is awesome, man. Like, they're like, the machine drinks for his own shows? I was like, yeah, we were smoking cigars, smoking meat.
That was in Florida?
That
Yeah, it's Florida.
Yeah, that
is
was
Florida.
like downtown. We were like just on the sidewalk downtown with a smoker, a brisket, lawn chairs, cigars, and beers.
Awesome.
Cornhole.
Dave grew up in Miami, so he's a Florida guy.
Really?
too.
Yep.
By the way, would have never guessed that. Quite a pale individual. I don't know how you battled. Did you battle down there? Did you have to, like, that's a real thing. I would die in Miami. We were down there for the Super Bowl, and I could not exist.
Yeah, Battle of the Sun. Is that what you're talking about?
The heat.
That's the whitest guy alive. Dave will give you the best car advice right now. And this is my favorite. You know the advice I'm
I know what you're talking about.
Okay. This is, if you're going, Dave used to sell cars. He had a dealership down in Miami. And this is, if you're buying a car, this is what you do. Tell him, Dave.
So when I was working at the dealership.
Don't make a meal out of it.
I'm 7 words in, bro.
I think it was 5. I think. Yeah. I'm at the dealership.
All right, I'll just take the advice to my grave. That's fine. Nah, this dude came in and totally worked one of our brand new salesmen. And it turns out he targeted the sales guy because he called in the day before and asked the secretary. He said, hey, I just came in the other day, and I got this brand new salesman. What's his name? And she was like, Carlos? And he goes, yeah, Carlos. Transfer me to him. And then Carlos picked up, and he's like, Carlos, I'm going to come in and buy a car. And he's like, all right, cool. Yeah. He came in and just totally worked this rookie sales guy because he found out it was his first week.
And they want to sell. They want that guy to sell cars, so they're like, all right, make the deal, Carlos.
Yeah. You always want the new guy to get his first, X on the board. So,
Oh, my
we'll
God.
drop our pants a little bit to get that guy a sale.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks for that information. I have a car buying habit. It's not a good one, but I have that. Let's get to a phone call real quick. Ben in Boston, who coughed in the middle of your story there. Ben, happy to hear you survived. What do you want to ask, brother?
Hey, sorry, I didn't know you could hear me.
That's all right, Ben. It was great.
Great.
But,
It's very nice of you.
It's a feel-good Friday, boys. How you doing?
Great, Ben.
And also shout out to Boston Connor for manning the phones over there.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Bert
What's your
Kreischer, man.
question?
Attaboy, Connor. Thank you, Connor. This all relies on Connor.
What's your
Hey,
question?
Bert, I'm a big fan of What's Burning, the cooking show on YouTube. Are we going to get more of that?
You mean my show, Something's Burning?
That was just, big fan. That might have been the worst call in the history of radio.
Big fan.
We had such
What's
a
burning?
Yeah. What is your cooking show called?
Something's Burning.
I like that.
Yeah, I had to take a break because I did the Netflix series, and so I just had to take a break because we were shooting that.
Are you a good chef or terrible?
Oh, I'm a horrible chef, but I beat Sebastian Maniscalco in a burger contest.
Now we're talking.
Dude, I murdered him, and let me tell you something. Sebastian legit cooks and is legit competitive, and when I won, if you look at the look on his face, it's in awe. We had Roy Choi, who, by the way, Secret Time will be at my St. Patty's Day event at the store. We have taco trucks in the back truck. And
packed lineup.
Yeah, packed lineup. And podcast in the OR, big show in the main room.
Never heard of it.
And I haven't mentioned it yet, but
It's going to be big. You should go.
But Roy Choi was the guest, and I just cooked burgers and then cooked them in bacon grease. So obviously mine tasted better.
Obviously.
By the way, Secret Time, I didn't think I used that right. But if you really want your burger to take awesome, coat it in mustard before you grill it.
Oh, smart. Meat guy, you say yes, Dave?
Yeah, he also went with the Wagyu, right?
I went with Wagyu beef, yeah.
Smart. That's the really tender stuff.
And if you're going to use Wagyu beef, put breadcrumbs in it because it holds on to the fat.
Listen to you. You're a good chef. You're not a bad chef. Check out What's Cooking.
Something's Burning.
and the Birdie Boy World Tour. All those stops can be found at
BertBertBert.com. You can find everything, my Instagram, my Twitter. Britney Spears retweeted me the other day. It's Britney, bitch.
Yeah, you can say that. That's good news. I can't thank you enough, ladies and gentlemen. Bert Kreischer. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I hope you guys have the greatest. You too, Dave, man. You're awesome.
Thank you, brother.
I hope you guys have the greatest weekend of your entire life.
Murdering a beer for you right now. Enjoy your weekend.
Yep. Cheers. This has been the Pat McAfee Show from Indianapolis.
Indiana!
See, we just powered right into the break there. People are going to be very mad about that. People are going to be very mad. Did you chuck that whole thing right there? All right. Hey, YouTube, we appreciate the hell out of you. Bert, do you have anything you want to say to the YouTube people?
No.
He said no.
No?
No.
All right. Dave, anything?
Dave W. Comedy on Instagram.
There we go.
Yep.
Hey, Dave W. Comedy
Good
on
plug.
Instagram. I'm going to follow you there. I'm excited for you. You're a Miami car salesman that cooks meat.
That's me, dude, in a nutshell. I also like water polo. Now you know everything about it.
By the way, Google water polo pussy shots. That's all the women do is they grab each other's pussies. Google water polo pussy. I'm telling you.
All right. It's been a great Friday. We appreciate anything. How about a motivational speech maybe for the kids out there that are about to have a great weekend? You know, maybe they're 12 years old, maybe they're 28 years old. You know, for the good weekend to be had, Bert, from the machine, a man who once robbed a train with a Russian mob, and the Van Wilder story is about if you're going to have a weekend that is the time of your life. Bert Kreischer says this.
Sometimes it's about not working hard. Sometimes it's about not getting out of bed. Sometimes it's about sleeping in and missing that car accident, missing that heart attack on the treadmill. It's about luck. It's about showing up at the right time, at the right place, when the universe is lined up for you.
Yeah.
So if you feel like getting a Snickers, get a Snickers. If you feel like having that second drink, get the second drink and call an Uber home. Don't work hard. It'll happen.
Good wink. Really locked it in.
My daughter can't wink. Every time she winks, she goes, I'm like, Isla, easy.
Hey, by the way, the way you are with your family is awesome. It's really cool to watch.
Yeah.
Pretty good dad.
I'll be
On the
better
internet,
with my
you're good.
second wife.
All right. That's
See,
the
one
show.
day, that's where Joe goes, hey, man, don't do that joke.
Cheers.
At Simple Mobile, you get the no contract advantage. Unlimited talk, text, and data now for $30 a month. Now on a 5G ready network with no activation fees ever. No confusion, no complexity, no frustration, and no contract. Ever, ever, ever. Now get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a month. And now 5G ready. It's our best deal ever. Buy yours now at nationwide retailers or at Simple Mobile dealers. Learn more at simplemobile.com. Simple Mobile, out with the old, in with the simple.